So in order to launch, you need to hold the handbrake and then slightly hold the gas and watch the RPMs just jump up a bit like that, and then fully hold it down. If you hold down the gas 100%, the RPMs will just jump up like that and do nothing. So again, you just slightly hold the gas, then hold it down fully, and then let go of the handbrake and watch it launch.
Oh my god! Wow!
Now in order to launch at a certain RPM, you need to do the same thing as before. Hold the handbrake and slightly hold the gas, but this time let go of the handbrake and watch the RPMs just jump up like that. And then in order to get those RPMs back down, you need to slowly release the gas and just watch the RPMs just slowly drop like that. And for further example, you'll just see me mucking around with the RPMs. There are a lot of factors in order to have a good launch, and one of them is the first gear ratio. How long or short it is determines how much wheel spin your car may have. Now there isn't much wheel spin on this car, but I am gonna go back and just play around with the gears just to make the launch a little bit better. Now what you want to do is every time you tune a car, you want to save it as it is before you do any more work to it, just in case you stuff up the tune and don't remember how the things were before you mucked it up. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stretch that first gear out just to make sure there's absolutely no wheel spin, as you will see soon. I have no idea what happened to the shifting there. As you will see me do now is even the other gears a bit. Evening out the other gears do help with how fast your car will go down the quarter mile, or any distance actually. Now that looked like a perfect launch to me, and the other gears seem like they're all in place, so I'm very happy with how this car has turned out to be. Now with all-wheel drive cars, it's pretty much the same as rear-wheel drive, except, you know, since it's all-wheel, it's much easier to launch. So you could launch it at a low RPM like that, but I did tune this car to launch at 4K RPMs, so that's what I'm going to do now. As you can see, there is quite a bit of wheel spin, so what I'm going to do is go back and just stretch out that first gear and show you what it does. After stretching out the first gear, I'm just going to see how the car launches. When the RPMs drop like that, that means that your first gear is too long, so you need to go back and shorten it just to have the best takeoff as possible. I shortened the gears just a little bit, but there still is just a little bit of wheel spin, but that doesn't matter. I'm happy where this car's tune is at. I'm going to move on. Now I'm going to move over to my Porsche just to give an example on how it launches. I did tune this car to launch at 6k RPMs, so you'll see that now. Now the launches are pretty decent in this car, however the second gear, the RPMs do drop a little bit too much, which means my second gear is too long, like my heart. But I'm gonna give you an example when your first gear is too short. I'm sure you can imagine what that'll do. If not, then you'll find out real soon. If your first gear is too short, even the slightest amount, it'll wheel spin. Now I'm gonna go back and load the tune that I had it on before I shortened the first gear. As I said before, save your tunes before you make a change, in case you stuff up and can't remember what you had on it before. And what I'm doing now is I'm gonna be stretching that first gear out just to make sure there's absolutely no wheel spin. As you can see, there's absolutely no wheel spin, but I do like how I had it before, with the high RPMs off the line. So I am going to switch back my tune to how it was before. Now I do like this launch way better in the longer first gear. All the power's there off the line, and that's what you want. Now front wheel drive launching, it's much more complicated, I reckon. There's so much wheel spin that these cars can have, and all it takes to prevent that is a decently long first gear, not too long so that it loses power on launch, and some good throttle response on your side of things, just to prevent wheel spin. And you just need to know when to accelerate and when to let go during the first and second gears, just so you can have minimal wheel spin as possible. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the first gear and just give it 100% acceleration all the way through. As you can see how fantastic that worked, I'm now gonna stretch out that first gear and launch it with the good throttle response that I earlier mentioned, knowing when to accelerate and when to not accelerate, and you'll see how well it does, launching with minimal wheel spin as possible.